Hey guys, welcome to a new video. In this video here, we're going to take a look at the new depth anything model. This is the new state-of-the-art model for monocular depth estimation, where we basically just have a single image. And then we can basically do very accurate zero-shot depth estimation, and it outperforms Midas significantly, as we're going to see in just a second. Then we're going to take a look at the GitHub repository. We're just going to go through it. Then we're going to see how we can set the code up. And then we're going to see some awesome results running on video, so we can see how good this monocular depth estimation model is. And this is also state-of-the-art for absolute depth estimation. You can fine tune it on your own dataset if you actually have metric depths. So they basically have this project page as well, together with the GitHub repository. They have some demos. You can download the model directly, code and papers. This is from TikTok and the University of Hong Kong. So here we can just get like a quick overview over what this model is, but basically the only thing that it is just like some small modifications to the Midas model, and then it has been trained on significantly more data, so it's better at generalizing and this zero-shot relative depth estimation, but also zero-shot metric depth estimation. So it's better than the SOE depth for metric depth and better than Midas, even the largest Midas model. So for Midas, there's tons of different models, and even the large one, it is not good. It can run in real time and so on. They have some smaller models which can run faster, but you will get a lot of blur in the image. So this is state of the art compared to both these models. We can also see optimal in domain fine tuning, as I mentioned, and evaluation on NYU v2 and also the Kitty dataset. So here they're doing like a short comparison of the Midas and the depth anything model. And as I just talked about and mentioned, that Midas has some blur here and there, as we can also see in this example. The depth anything, you can see how accurate it is, especially like around edges. So if you're taking a look at the edges, it is really accurate, but also the relative depth in the actual like image, or like the absolute depth. So here we can see that this color, or like this area over here to the right, is actually like closer to the image. So for the Midas model, it actually like seems like the ball here and the right side is actually like the exact same distance away from the camera. And as you guys are probably familiar with, if you're familiar with basket and you've seen one before, then you can actually like tell that the ball is slightly further away from the camera compared to the right side here. They also do some other different kind of examples. You can go through them. They have some videos down here. Again, we can see the Midas. It is significantly more blurry, where we get these really nice edges with the depth anything. So I just want to show you guys some results here. These are very awesome, and it can be used for so many different applications, like a lot of generative AI out there. All like the generation, 3D information, like text to 3D, text to 2D, like how we actually like generating images are based on these depth models. And before they were using Midas, but I'm sure they're going to update their models to use this new depth anything model, because it's just significantly better. We'll be able to generate 3D textures, generative AI images, art, and so on much better now. Even the video here, you can just see the background it's significantly better. So let's now jump into the GitHub repository. You can just go in and clone it directly. They even have like an app and also a run file, so you can directly run it on a video live stream. You can also open up a live webcam stream and directly use it in there. So if you just scroll a bit further down, again, we see the examples. These are something new. So again, depth anything, both ONNX, also TensorRT is supported if you want to speed it up significantly more and optimize it for specific hardware. So here are the features of depth anything. We already went over that with our metric depth estimation and also our relative depth estimation. We can see the performance. So again, they're just mentioning that their model is significantly better than Midas, and also has significantly lower number of parameters. Here we see with the small model, which we're going to run in just a second, it's 25 million parameters, where the Midas is 350. So that is like 12, 14 X the size of this small model, and we can see that it still performed like very, very nicely. We have some pre-trained models here. We can directly go in and use them to have some benchmarks. So this is the milliseconds inference time on a V100. So we can see that we get around like 12 milliseconds inference, 13 milliseconds inference. So that's around 80 frames per second. So now we can actually like run these depth estimation models on a single camera in real time. Even if we're going in here and optimizing it for specific hardware, so we can optimize it for TensorRT with an RTX 4090, we can get 3 milliseconds inference, and that's around like 330 frames per second. So that's just pretty cool. Here you can see how we can set it up. But let's now jump into the code. I've just cloned the GitHub repository and installed the dependencies. So to have this requirements file, you can just pip install it directly, or you can install this requirements file. So this is everything that we have, and then I've also cleaned up the code a bit, so we don't have like input arguments to our command prompt, but we can just specify it in here, so we can use it in our own custom applications and projects. So I have a bunch of videos over here to the left, so most of them are videos, and then we just have our run file and also our our app, and then it's going to use this depth anything folders up here at the top, both for control net and so on. So first of all, here we just import all the different modules that we need. Let me just zoom in and move this over here. Then we need to choose our encoder here, so we can both use the VIT small base and also the large model. So this will be the smallest one. So this is the one with the 25 million parameters, or like megabytes in parameters. And then we have our VIT base and also the large, which is around like 300 megabytes. So just try it with the small model here. It will run significantly faster. Again, we're not doing any optimization or anything, so we're just running it directly. Then we specify the video path, so basically just the video that you want to process, and get the depth map off. Again, this is just a single camera, a single video that we're going to throw through a model, and then we'll get the depth estimations out, which will be pretty cool. And again, this is relative depth, but you can also fine tune this model on absolute depth. So we have some margin width, caption height here, basically just for visualization. We set up fonts and so on for visualizations. If CUDA is available on your computer, it's going to use that, or else it will use the CPU. This will be significantly faster if you're using a CUDA GPU. Now we need to set up our depth anything model. So inside depth anything dot from pre-train, then we can load in the pre-trained weights. And this is basically just from a directory, Hawk and Face directory, that we can directly go in and take. We just specify the encoder, we put it on the device, and then we have loaded in our depth anything model from a pre-trained weight file. First of all, it's just going to print out the total number of parameters. So those are the exact same parameters as we saw inside the GitHub repository. Now we need to set up our transforms. This is our pre-processing of our image before we throw it into the model. So we have some width and also the height of our image, resize target, keep aspect ratio, and so on, and also some image interpolation method. So we won't really dive too much into that, but it's just like the pre-processing needed for this pre-trained depth anything model with the VIT small backbone. And it will be the exact same for all the other different versions of the VIT model. We also normalize our image, and then we prepare it for our neural net. Then we can set up a video writer, so we saved and stored information along the way once we're going to process this video file. Now we can set up a video capture just as we've done in pretty much like every single video on my channel. We set up a video capture, we have a while loop just loading in images from our webcam or like from our video path. Could also be just a single image, but right now we can take a path of images. We can basically take a folder of images, we can take video path, video stream directly. You can also just specify 0 here and it will run on the webcam. We can probably try that in just a second as well. Then we're going to read in a frame from our video capture. We resize it to the desired format. Of course, you're going to do the transformation before it feeds it into the model, but this is just to save some processing time. We convert the color here from PGR to RGB because this is the format that the model takes, and OpenCV is using PGR. Then we're going to do the transform, so basically doing the image pre-processing, and we also unsqueeze this here because we don't really want to use batches. Now without torch grad, so here we don't want to like calculate any gradients while we're training our model, so we just have with torch no grad just for speeding up our inference. Then we have our depth anything, we throw the model in, or like we throw the image in, and then we get the depth out here as the output. Then we're going to do some interpolation because we actually like have a downsampled image or like a resized image, and now we want to actually like resize it back again to our original size, so we can then show the results side by side with the original video. Then we have our depth here. We basically just, so all the values will be normalized, and then we multiply it by 255. So we actually get our values between 0 and 255 instead of 0 and 1. Then we can just convert our depth here to the CPU and also a NumPy array, specifying that we want to use an unsigned integer 8-bit. Then we can set up our depth color, so we can apply color map from OpenCV. Right now we just have the color map Inferno, but there's different color maps that you can use. This is pretty much this default one. You don't really have to like specify color map, then it will just be white and gray. And a grayscale depth map. Then we can split the region and also combine the results, so we have the original image and the depth map side by side. Then we're basically just going to go through all of that and calculate like the x coordinate to the center, add some captions as well, and then we're just going to put that out. So you're going to see that in just a second when we're going to visualize it and run the program. So this is just for visualizations of our results. Then we have our final result. We're just basically just concatenating the caption space together with our combined results. So we just have the images, the original video, and also the depth map side by side, and then we have some captions on top of our combined result. Then we write our depth map to the video file here, so we can just take a look at it later on, and then we show it with OpenCV as well. So depth anything, final results. If we hit Q on a keyboard at any time, it's going to terminate the program, release our video capture, also release the video file that we're writing to for our video file that we're storing, and also destroy all the windows that we've opened up with OpenCV. So now we're pretty much ready to go. We just need to specify the path to our video or to our webcam in the case that we want to use that. Let's open up a new terminal and let's just run it. You don't have to do anything. Like, this is really easy to run. Just clone the GitHub repository, make some modifications. This file here will also be available on my GitHub. Then you can use it directly out of the box. We just need to run Python run.py, and then you can modify it for your own applications and projects, combine it with different pipelines. So right now it's going to load in the model to start with. So if you're running it for the first time, it will load in the model to start with. Here you can see the total number of parameters. It's going to set up the model. I've already run this, so it's pretty easy and pretty fast to set up. We can see the raw image to the left, and then the depth anything output results from the model on the right side. And again, remember, this is the smallest model. It's only 25 million parameters. So this is pretty awesome. You can just see the results here. Like, I'm just going to let them run here, and then you can see the results. Like, you can see like the trash here on the ground. Right now we see some pedestrians on the other side here, but again, it's not like too detailed. Let's try to go in and use one of the other base models. So let's try to go with the base model of the VIT, because again, the large model is very large. If we hit Q on a keyboard, we terminate. Let's go with the base. And again, we can just directly go down and run it. And I probably haven't run this before. So it's, first of all, it's going to download the PyTorch model from Hugging Face. So 390 megabytes. So we'll just take a second or two, and then it's just going to run the inference as we saw before. There we go, total number of parameters. So we have 100 million parameters, where in the large one we have 350 or so. So this is 3x the size, or like 4x the size of the one that we just ran before. So if you want to like run real-time applications, you probably just want to go with the smallest one, because again, the results are not too different. If you want the highest details, of course you can go with larger models. But here you can just see the details around the edges. And again, this is relative depth, so you will get some changes back and forth when obstacles are like pretty close to the scene here. And also because the monocular, if you're using like absolute depth values, metric depth values, fine-tuning it on that, it will not be like flickering back and forth. Also, when objects come closer to the camera. So again, we can see like there's no flickering. It's pretty evenly distributed. You can see like how the depth just like kind of like scales going towards like infinity here in the background. And now we can see we get a bit more details on the other side of the road, and basically just all the color gradients when we are going further away from the camera. So let's now just go in and specify like a 0 here, because that will be the index to my camera. Let's open it up and let's try to run this on a live webcam directly with the depth anything model and see how that works. So now we can see that the webcam is up and running. I just have it here. Let's try to move it around. You can just see how responsive it is. So let's just try to like move it around here. This is my keyboard. Again, we can see that this is actually like pretty real time. Again, I'm moving it fairly fast around and it's doing depth estimation. I can also turn it around here, and you can see these really nice details around my head and also the microphone, even my hand here. Let's try to like move it here. So this is probably like at the same distance with the microphone and the hand, and if I take it like a bit closer, you can see that it actually like gets brighter in my hand. And if I take it further away from the microphone here, we can actually like see a clear distance in this depth map. So it's pretty nice. Again, you can see how fast it is, and also the details is really awesome. We are not able to do this with the Midas model, so definitely test this one here out. Check it out. You can use it in your own applications and projects. It is significantly better than the Midas model, as you have experienced throughout this video. So that's it for this video here, guys. I hope you have learned a ton. Definitely test this out here. It is pretty awesome, and it's going to be used in a lot of applications and projects going forward. And then I'll just see you guys in one of the upcoming videos. Until then, happy learning.